but I didn't keep track. And so I thought, I needed to start doing it because I found myself slipping on the accountability scale.
Sure.
So I thought it just is a great tool for me.
Yeah.
To say, what am I doing with my time? Is it the highest and best use? And is it getting results? So if I'm spending this many hours a day doing this kind of activity and I'm not getting results, then what does that mean? I need to change what I'm doing during that time frame. So for me, I think it was just a really helpful thing, and also just to make myself be more motivated to do more, even at home. So I have a different one at home. But I just kind of felt myself slipping and maybe just a little sluggish. So this tool for me helps me.
And that's how habits work. It's you start it and it's working really well. And the weight loss thing is a great example. Writing down your food, or going to the gym, or having a trainer, and then you stop, and what happens? It's human nature. Left to our own devices, we're a mess. A lot of us, myself included. Having that accountability piece and creating the habits that you want. I mean, if there's not something that you're trying to change, or you don't really care, you just want to drift through life, that's fine. But if you're really trying to hit a goal, there's a whole science behind it that you guys know. You have to write it down, you have to tell someone, you have to say it out loud. Even in the phone calls that you're making, and we'll kind of cover some of this, but if you are talking to somebody who's coming in for a meeting or an appointment, and you say to them, I mentioned this to Diane yesterday, will you call me if you need to change your time? Or cancel your, I never like to use the word cancel, but will you? Just putting those two words, will you? They say, yes, I will. They've made an oral, verbal, public commitment, and your chances are 300% greater that they will follow up and call if there's a problem. So it takes time and practice to remember all of those little pieces, but the discipline of planning your day and writing it down has the same effect. That you have to look at the end of the day and see how many things you've crossed off, whether you use a yellow pad or whether you use some much more technologically advanced way of tracking your time. I would encourage everyone to do that every day, whether it's your Outlook calendar or whatever it is. Because honestly, this is a first year business. It's actually a second year, but the first year was a little, there was a few twists and turns. And in a first year business, there comes a point where, okay, everyone's been on board, people know what the goals are. There's going to be stuff that has to be readjusted and shifted, but sooner or later it's time to make some money and bring in some business. So, we're this close, but there's some very important pieces that I think need to be tweaked, and that's what we're going to try to uncover today. We're going to uncover and discover and love and live all of the issues that we need to deal with. So on my list of things I want to just kind of set out there for you guys to mastermind together is what's working and obviously, and what's clearly not working. What are we not doing that we know we need to do?
Closing sales.
I know. Ding, 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 ding.
I'm a smart one.
Okay, so I was just kind of give you the overview. What are we not doing that we know we need to do? What could we be doing? Are we sure we know who our ideal clients are, and how are we addressing those? What's our plan for outreach, and what could we be doing more of and better with in terms of outreach? Are enough clients coming to you? If not, are you going to find them where they live? And the overall kind of theme, what's missing in this whole equation? You've all been here long enough. Diane's had 6 weeks to observe and absorb kind of what's going on. What's missing in the bigger equation that would make all the difference in the process? Not the obvious answer, more business. If I went into any business in America today, I'd say, what's your biggest problem? They would say, we need more business and we need to communicate. Sound familiar? Okay, so you're not alone in dealing with those issues. So having said that, I want to just throw out the question for a general input as to what's working. We always start with the positive. What's working? Then we're going to talk about what we see is not working. Jessica's going to give us some stats on where we are now in the spirit of starting with the moment. And then we'll pick one or two key challenges and we'll zero in on those and then identify future next week, next month challenges that we need to undertake and how we're gonna put this train back on the track. Okay? All right. So let's talk about in general at Style 2020 It's June, is it the 30th?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, the year is half over. We are 50% done. So we have 6 months of
50% left.
opportunity
Yeah.
to do something magnificent here. And just in my past observations and just the last 24 hours, I told Catherine, yeah, there's work to be done, but I know this marriage can be saved. Have you ever read that article? There's all the power, all the forces, all the energy is here. We can fix it. Everybody just has to be open to as I know you all are, to honest feedback and suggestions and thinking outside the box, including Catherine, and she totally is. Okay, so year to date, as you look back, what do you see that's working, that's a win for Style 2020?
I think that I just noticed the last two events as far as having the presentation run smoother, having the material, it's more duplicatable. So like you said, if something were to happen and I couldn't be here, and if Diane had to step in, she could go through she would be able to read. I have it down now where someone could step in if they needed to. And then I found that we're much more relaxed the day of an event.
Excellent.
Because of more preparation ahead of time.
A lot more in it ahead of time. We're not running around with our heads cut off. We come in later in the day and are able to have that time. I think that, having that systems checklist. Yep, this is done. So it's becoming something that's a little more routine. We're not scrambling for RSVPs. We're getting people in the door in advance. Like we already have RSVPs now for July.
Wow, that's great.
So just from our ad. So the branding is getting out there. People are starting to see who we are. So I think that those are big wins. Now we're just getting qualified.
So
our attendance.
Our attendance is up.
Hold that one sec. You guys created that system.
Mm-hmm.
And you tweaked it and played with it, and you revised it and reviewed it, and it's actually working, and nobody's running around with their hair on fire on event day. That is a huge win.
It's big.
And it plays into the attendance is up, and the people who do attend, they can feel that. When they come in and everyone's like,
Oh, sure.
stressed versus calm, that was no small task. That
Right.
took several months.
Yeah,
Okay.
everybody is calm and set up and standing around waiting, and at the front doors they're coming in. It's going very, very smoothly. So they're being checked in
Great.
now, and everybody's at their place and ready to go.
And capturing information. So now we're doing a much better job of capturing more complete information too. That's come a
great.
long way.
You can see now that you're doing that.
And Jessica's got stats. I mean, and she's on it. She
Right.
has stats for us like practically that night.
Can you see now that you have that, what was missing? I mean, think about that. If you didn't have that in place, you're going to all this trouble, all this work. I guess I was talking to Diane yesterday about these events, or maybe it was Joanne, but the events are beautiful, they're great, all these people are coming, but if you have a year's worth of events and no sales from that, you're just throwing a free party. So, so now it's time to tweak the next level, which is completely doable. It's really hard to tweak the conversion from the event if the event isn't as put together as you envision it at the platinum plus level, and I think that's the thing to keep in mind too. Complete info. Okay. Any other event related things that you want to acknowledge?
We have more signups. More
Getting a
people
lot
are
more
signing up
response.
More signups.
More,
for our life and
lifestyle.
style profile.
More profiles.
Mhm.
Well, gee, I wonder if those two are related. More complete information. More profiles. Booked for sure. Okay. Anything else related to that? Okay. What about just wins in general? That when you think about your business, even in your own job, what's working?
I think the new ad is a huge plus
Okay.
when it comes to, because it's everybody here's input.
The ad right now, or you mean campaign?
The campaign itself, I mean, this month's for July is phenomenal, I think.
The legs.
The legs with the
The medicine balls.
medicine ball
I
with
love that one too.
high heels.
Okay.
It speaks to who we are.
It's phenomenal, great feedback on it, and
Okay.
I think that's really what's helping this event attendance as well.
That's the question. Okay, so it looks great. We all love it. Is it pulling?
I I think so. As soon as last month, as soon as the ad hit, we started to get a lot of calls, like within minutes.
But then when the Evite went out,
When the Evite
That's the
went
most
out,
important
that
thing.
was huge.
And if they've seen the ad and then the Evite, then you have the perfect
right.
storm.
So I think the Evite, the ad along with the Evite, as soon as the Evite hits, that's when the calls started coming in last
Okay.
month. This is what I'm hoping for July too.
Okay. Well, then on that note, since we're talking about that, Jessica, can you speak to what kind of call return you're getting on that ad, and then just in general the stats that you were going to review?
So for June, we had 48 leads, and you guys know that includes anyone that's called in for any reason, interested in coming to the event, profile, whatever. Of those 48 leads, we've had 14 appointments.
Did you count the new one from yesterday?
Katie?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And to date, 5 that have showed.
All right.
A lot of them are future
Right, I know.
appointments.
Okay, so 48 leads, 14 appointments, 26. What is that?
So
About
that's about 36%.
36% appointment to lead. I'm sorry, lead to appointment.
Appointment to show. Oh,
No.
Lead
Wait.
to appointment.
Well, hold on. Let Jessica.
hold on, I have it here. Show.
She worked very hard on this. I want to make sure she owns it.
Well, let's see.
And I gave her like 12 minutes to do it, so it's
Well, okay. Let's see here.
okay if you don't have it exact. We know that we had 48 new leads, fresh new ones. 14 appointments were made out of that.
Uh-huh.
Of that, 5 showed. So that's less than 10% of lead to show so far. And 2 weeks out, that obviously is a huge area that needs to be improved. Because
what's
the
the
further out you
percentage
go.
from appointments to show? Do you mean like appointments that have already taken places versus how many people actually showed
An
up?
appointment is somebody who made an
That's-
appointment. A show is somebody who came to the
Right,
appointment.
so 36%.
Yeah,
to
5
date.
out of 14
But no, but I'm saying of the appointments that have already occurred, how many people showed up?
already
'Cause-
occurred when?
Well, we had in no your time shows. frame.
So,
That's
that
right.
was 5 of 7, 2 canceled.
Okay, that was my question.
Two,
Yeah.
well, one
Okay, you
is-
need to clarify that. You're saying there was
Yeah.
14 appointments made
14
of
appointments.
this 48.
Of those 48 leads.
Correct.
5 of them have showed up
Correct.
so far, 2 have canceled.
So only 7 appointments have taken place. So half of the appointments have taken place.
Right.
7 are in
more
the
out
future.
there.
7 are in the
Okay.
future.
Yeah,
So then,
that-
what is the 5 shows we're talking about?
5
Same
of
thing.
the 7 appointments that have already occurred, 5 of those 7
up.
showed up.
Okay, then we have see, this is very important
I
conversation
was gonna say.
because we have a vernacular issue here. A lead is a new person who came or called. Okay, an appointment means I made an appointment. I'm coming tomorrow.
I'm more curious about learning
Okay,
more.
but wait, I want to do definitions here so that we all agree. Do we all agree that appointment is somebody who called and made an appointment to come in?
Yes.
Correct.
They haven't come in yet.
No.
Correct.
A show means one of these 14 people came in.
I've come in.
Okay, so when I asked you how many shows and you said 5, what were you referring to?
How many people have showed that have
came
come in and done the profile?
We'll get 7 more appointments pending.
Okay, I understand, but Zena just said we had 7 appointments.
No.
No. I said 14 appointments. Okay, so for example, 14 appointments were made.
Correct.
7 are in the future, 7 have already occurred. Of the 7 that have already occurred or taken place, 5 of 7 showed up.
Oh,
2
you mean
canceled.
of the 7 appointments that were made prior to today,
Right,
5
right.
showed. Okay, well that is
Because otherwise that's throwing off your percentage.
And one is already rescheduled.
okay, but none of that matters in this context in the
Okay.
sense that we're looking at June 30th. This is where it can get very confusing with future, past, all that.
Mhm.
As of the last day of June, unless somebody comes in today, we had 48 new leads. 14 appointments were made from the 48. We already said that. Some are in the future, some are in the past, whatever. Of the 48 leads, we've had 5 people physically come in for a profile. So shows equals profile.
Okay.
And that's why you take out all the extraneous past, future, rescheduled, all that for the moment.
Okay.
Because if you're looking at month to month, you look at what happened, not what's going to happen in the future. We did make 14 appointments. That's great. At the end of July, there will
We'll have more
likely
information.
be, right. But for the moment, the show rate of 5 to 48 is less than 10%. That needs work. Agreed?
Yeah.
But here's the question. there were several that were on the lead list that we had no information. Are you counting them as part of your 48? You had them on the list, you didn't have information, they didn't show up.
Well,
you
if it's
didn't
a
have
lead
phone
with no
number.
information, then we
It's
have
not
to talk
lead.
about, right.
That's what I want to
Well,
make sure.
that's something I think we can talk to her about later, but
Okay.
she and I agreed on what a lead was before this time, and that was
Okay.
somebody we had a name and a phone number, and this will all have to be kind of
Okay,
fleshed
but
out.
it's just important if we're looking at exact numbers.
Yeah, exact numbers. If I have a name, I don't know their phone number or how to reach them, that's not a lead.
I had probably 5 or 6 of those.
Okay, well, those, to my knowledge, are not in there, but that was something we would definitely clarify.
Okay.
Okay, so the idea was just to give you an idea
Mhm.
on the face of things. If I'm the sales manager, I'm gonna say, we had 48 fresh people. That's fantastic. I mean, I don't know if you know off the top of your head, Jessica, and I'm sorry to keep putting you on the spot, but you handle it so well. Any idea where this 48 new leads, how that compares to maybe a previous month? 'Cause I don't think you were getting 48 new bodies in.
No, I mean, I have more stats.
We
Like,
can get that later, but I'm just curious. It feels to me like a big number.
It's definitely
is.
a lot more.
Marie, you would know too, and
Yeah.
Joanne, because you were handling those leads.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say, in March when I started doing these groups, there was maybe 15 or 18 or 20.
yeah.
Okay, all right. So that's really positive. And 14 appointments is more than I think has ever been made as a result of,
An event.
and being Diane's first month. So I think you got nowhere to go but up, because that means there's 43 people at least somewhere out there who came in or called or expressed an interest, even if you're only converting 10%, which I would hope for a lot more than that. That's 4.8 people out there who want to spend money here.
Mhm.
So that's really great. And I didn't mean to totally get bogged down in that, but I wanted to you can see how, when we're doing quarterly reviews with people, and you have to really clarify at a very granular level what people are talking about when they say lead. You say tomato, I say tomato, and what's a customer, what's a client. So I think we have a pretty good idea, and Jessica and I will figure that all out, and you guys will all be in the loop, so you know exactly how we're defining stuff. But overall, there's business to be had. There's no doubt about that. And then how we get it is, and capture it and find the right place for these people is the next question. Anything else on the stats, Jessica, that you wanted to?
Well, you had asked me to calculate like the ratios just from the event.
Right.
So,
Well, just to run through that really quick.
so the RSVP to show is 57%.
On a
And
night
then-
when there was maybe something else going on, right?
Yeah.
Right. And then we had
Huge
12
night.
walk-ins. So
The Laker final game
Yeah,
was on.
yeah.
So
yeah, and then the show to appointment, and we were calling it the net show because I'm not
Right.
including people that we know would never sign up for a profile.
wait, you mean appointment to show? Appointments made to profiles.
No.
No.
Okay, wait, let her. I need to just converse with one person.
So
Sorry.
the show to the event.
Got it.
Attended
Got
to
it, okay,
appointment,
okay.
pretty much.
Right.
And that was 40%.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So attend to appointment. Attendee to appointment
Yeah.
equals 40%. Okay.
Meaning of the people that attended, 40% signed
40%
up.
made appointments.
Okay,
Of the,
So
Of the qualified.
not just the.
not just like vendors.
Okay,
Right.
You need to let Jessica answer.
I'm sorry.
Mother.
I'm just so
I know.
living it.
I know. We're letting Jessica
Okay.
flesh out her numbers. Okay. All right, that's great. Okay, so of the appointments made, how many showed up? Or do we know that? Or did we already do that? No, we didn't do that. We did that just for the, maybe we didn't ask that question. We asked of the 48.
Of the appointments made that night.
Got it.
That I don't.
That's fine. That's fine. I apologize because we didn't. Let me ask you this. Do you have any other stats that you think you need to share? I'm
No.
gonna give you 12 more. Okay. So that in itself though, really you guys, 40% of the net. And she means like if your daughter came or your sister came there.
Qualified.
Exactly. So we're calling those net shows, 40% of the net shows minus the vendors. That's a really good number. Really good number. Which means you could probably do 50%. If people show up somewhere and really want information, so those are really all positives. And I think maybe another positive is that the stats are really coming together and starting to be a vital part of the evaluation process. Data is your friend, even though most of us shun the data. I think more conversation about what the data is and looking at it, just like setting goals, looking at it and saying, okay, how can we improve and what can we do? That data is going to improve every single month to where people are going to be excited about it. That does take time, but that totally does happen. Okay, any other wins that people want to put out there overall
I would like
outside
to
of the
say-
event?
Oh, outside, well, I'm talking about appointments.
Okay.
What we found is a really detailed confirmation email has reduced significantly the number of cancellations.
Okay, so
Like for the May
good
event,
email
a really
follow-up.
thorough email follow-up confirming our appointments has really reduced the cancellations. Because in May we had, I'd say probably 4 or 5 appointments and most of them canceled.
Okay, so
And so we didn't have maybe 1 or 2, maybe.
so the
4 or
show
5
rate has improved.
dramatically.
Great.
And the
Okay.
ones that are, the 2 that we have canceled have already scheduled. They're just,
No.
they have,
I
you
didn't
didn't count that.
no, because I know that the 2 that canceled have not rescheduled.
Which 2 are you referring to?
Okay, well, let's not get into
Okay,
granular
no, okay,
detail.
but anyway,
It's
it
just big
is,
picture.
it is
Okay, but in
getting-
your opinion, it's showing. But then we're looking at 5 shows for the month of June. Well, 5 out of that. I'd like to know how many we had total profiles for the month of June.
That's the total is 14. The from the event is 11.
Not appointments, people who came.
Or in June, how many?
In
people?
June, how many profiles did we do? And you may not have that here.
I don't have
Okay, so we know we had 5 profiles from the event. You would have probably, Marie?
yeah.
Because that's something you guys need to look at every single week. How many appointments do we have? How many showed up? So, in fact, that's really kind of your area.
Isn't that me?
So I would say that would be very important for you to, that's
do
a little homework for you. How many between Joanne and Zena, I think Diane probably did most of them, I don't know if Joanne did any, but how many profiles do we have in June?
Okay. I have it on my calendar, I just.
All right.
canceled it.
Okay, other wins. What's working? Wow, come on, you guys. How are you guys doing with Catherine being out of the office?
We miss her.
You know, she's available by phone if anything comes up,
Yeah.
and it's going. It's been going good.
She's still very involved. I
Well,
know that.
Lisa's doing a really good job of managing the office, or us, and keeping us informed and keeping us, communicating whatever
Good.
Catherine. So I think that is going well. That Catherine can speak to Lisa,
Yeah,
and then Lisa can come speak to us, and she's in touch with everything that's going
she
on.
really
So
is. I know
she's
it's
really
very
in touch.
important to
She
her
really
that
is.
you all feel that she's there because she's how she is. She's
So
there.
that's doing that. I mean, that's a
Great.
huge win too over what we had experienced in the past.
Yes. Okay. So how would you say that?
I would say
Improved?
that Lisa and the team
I think it's leadership.
cohesivity. Yeah, the cohesiveness that's coming from the leadership.
Cohesivity. I like that. That's a really good word.
Cohesiveness.
Team leadership.
Yeah,
Lisa.
big improvement.
Big improvement. That's
Huge
great to know.
improvement.
I'm sure Lisa will appreciate that too.
Yeah. So in Catherine's absence in the past, there was no team leadership,
Okay, that's good.
and there's a big disconnect.
Okay.
But now that having things set up like they are now, it's a huge win.
That's great.
It's a big difference.
That's great.
Mhm.
That's very important. Anything else?
I think even and now that as of tomorrow, Jessica is going to take over our social media. But I think that's something in the past that we didn't have before, and I think that it's up and running, and hopefully
Right.
it's something that Jessica can now just kind
Yes.
of duplicate and keep going. I think that's a win.
That's huge.
And if it saves us money, that's even better.
Yeah, it'll be a way
It
so we
saves
can
money.
take that money
Yeah.
It's
Do
more
other
personal
things.
to you. A lot of companies hire out people to do their social media, and frankly, it kind of shows because it doesn't have your, I don't know, signature on it.
Personal
It doesn't
touch,
have
yeah.
your, so.
But I think to get it going, it was necessary,
Oh,
and it was of value
100%. Yes.
to kind of show us this is how
Yes.
it's done,
Yeah.
and now we can run
Like
with
the
it.
other day, they posted on Facebook, oh, are you gonna go to the San Diego Farmers Market?
No, we're here located
Yes,
here.
exactly.
You
That's
know?
exactly
Really,
what
I
I
didn't see
mean.
that.
And
That's
there's a new
exactly
farmer's
what I
market
mean.
here in Newport Beach. now.
Yeah, there's a brand new one
Brand new
coming.
one.
I just
That's exactly right.
noticed.
Well, so that's the response. No, there's a
Yeah.
new one in Newport Beach where we are. So that's what I'm
Right,
trying to-
this is
okay.
where we are. So, yeah.
That's great. Congratulations,
More person.
Jessica.
Person.
Okay. All right. So a lot of things are going in the right direction. Now, let's get to the meat of the matter here. I think I want to go around the table for this and ask each person what they think. Very specifically, don't tell me more sales. Tell me, in your view, from where you sit in your office, what's the biggest challenge in your view at this moment
For the company as a whole.
for the company?
I have a thought.
Sign up.
Well, I like the way you used net leads and not qualified leads,
Mm-hmm.
because I think that that's one of our biggest problems, is that we're not qualifying the lead. And I think that that's where,
So
you know, we can be spinning our wheels with people who are not capable of signing up for our service, and we have to have some sort of process before we bring them in our door, or some sort of something that we can qualify the lead, so we're not spending time following up, because what happens is, well,
foremost
48
in my
leads,
mind, yeah.
that's a lot of leads.
So it's a lot. So we need to better qualify the target.
So that we can focus on the lead that can sign the contract.
Okay.
Because if we're muddying up the works,
Yes.
following up after 48
Yes.
people, and
Yes.
but what happens is the 4 really good ones fall through the cracks
Okay.
while we're chasing after money that isn't ever going to happen.
Okay.
So that's I
That's a
think,
very good point. So knowing who your target audience is not that hard, but finding them where they live and getting to them is a challenge.
Like
And
true
48
qualified
sounds
leads.
really great, but okay.
But so of the 48, how would we know which ones?
Okay, well
are
that's in the
qualified?
solutions
That's
piece.
the-
Right
yeah.
now, we're going to identify
Yeah.
what the issues are, and then we're going to prioritize them. And then what we're really doing is creating some more work here to further hone the process, the sales process, the whole process. So we're not going to solve this yet, but we're going to identify them. That's a very important one. So we do have leads coming in. We need to better qualify them. Okay. All right. What else? Challenges, issues, concerns, things that need to be addressed.
Oh, I think another one that we're struggling with right now is we've got people that are signed up that are not using their hours. And so we're not getting all of their income, because for people that have, you know, if they're, for example, right now I'm with Michael Nguyen. It's a good example. He signed up ages ago, has used like 3 of his hours. He doesn't have to pay the remainder of his balance due until he does 12 hours. And at this rate, we're not going to see 12 hours from him. I mean, today I'm going to squeeze out as many as possible. But that's income. That's like almost $1,900 that's not coming into our coffers because he hasn't spent, you know what I mean? And
That's
so
fine.
then I think after a certain point, where do we lose that client where they're not
Okay.
even going to pay up anymore?
Okay.
Does
Okay.
that make
So
sense?
we're going to have to figure out another system to keep them in check and to say you have up to X number of months to use your hours, and then there's a drip system. So we'll get into solutions for that. But right now we're going to identify the problems. That's a big. I was going to say it's a good problem to have, but if they haven't paid, it's not a good problem to have.
That-
Okay, for half.
Zena.
Along the lines of what she just said, we've talked about it when you weren't here. I think maybe just us or with Lisa when we were going through our client files, is that I know verbally we've discussed in the past that these contracts are for a 6-month time frame, exactly for that reason, in order to have a reliable income stream that we can count on and hold
Yes.
clients accountable to. However, we have not put that in our contracts, and if it's not in the contract, you can't follow through and make anyone accountable.
And you know
So-
how I feel about that 4-page contract.
Right, but I'm saying that's
Got it.
one way.
That
To
service
solve
agreement.
it.
Okay.
That's
got it.
one way to solve
Yes.
it, which we have not put into place. So while
Okay.
we can't really, I don't know how to solve it for what's already
Right,
happened, but
got
going
it.
forward, for sure.
Okay, so the service agreement needs to be updated.
Because whenever you sign an agreement with anyone, there's a time frame
It's a time, yeah.
Yeah, hours, of course, time frame.
for exactly that reason, because companies need a reliable income stream.
That's right, and simplicity. That's an easy one, but okay, that's important, really important. It's also
So
important. for the
going
sales
forward,
process.
that's easy.
Yeah, okay. If it gets assigned and we do it, and there's a time frame on the doing of the.
Yeah, it has
So,
to be. That's the only
Okay.
way.
All right, other stuff while we're in the channel. What else is like a stumbling block? What are you running into every day that's causing you to say, "Oh my gosh, we need to fix
I
this"?
think we need to somehow figure out how to get people in here. I think all this we've probably talked about outside of our events.
Okay.
So what would the problem be? Just not enough people in the door.
Reaching out to new prospects.
More
Yes.
prospects. Okay.
Outside of our event.
Beyond event. Okay. What else? I know that's the big one. We need more clients.
qualified prospects.
Joanne, you gave me a 2-page document today.
I know. Oh, tools.
Yeah,
We
tools.
so desperately need
Point of
tools for
sale.
prospecting. So our
of
POS,
sale.
I mean, it's like that. We're giving a $5,000 service, and we have this flimsy 4-page agreement
Okay.
and a little folder maybe to put that in. Go here. Yeah, and they come into this beautiful environment, and it's so official and so fabulous,
Right.
and we don't even have a pamphlet that is acceptable.
Okay.
So
So
we
we need a
beautiful
little.
folders to put it in, but just nothing to put it in.
Yeah, the folders are magnificent.
Yes.
And you know
fine.
what? That is not
But
a
nothing to put in.
huge, expensive item either.
No.
And that goes back to the contract. We're giving them this agreement that's got all of the information about the program on it, whereas it should be in a very nice menu or something that doesn't cost a fortune, that's very crisp and has your, all that. Yeah. So I am sure we can get that done. You know, maybe we get two more clients in the door paid and on their way or something, but that is important. We want the material to reflect who you guys are and some of the current stuff.
And
needs
as a
work.
leave behind is really important.
Yeah, as a leave behind too, yeah. So there needs to be a couple of different things and we can, you know, flesh that all out. All right, anything else big that is on anybody's mind?
Just the agreements that we have out there, people, you know, the sign up rate.
And that's all the.
Yeah.
Oh, the pending clients, you mean?
Clients that have come in for their profile that have not
Okay.
yet signed up.
Okay.
So
Closing.
closing.
We've got a lot, yeah, we've got a lot out there.
That's very important. That's why I had you do that list, Marie.
Yeah.
Closing the pendings. Who have we lost and why? And that's actually something that I'm going to be working on with Diane. We're going to analyze every single pending. And then, again, data is our friend. Why did they say no? Let's find out what they're saying. And did they say no because of a legitimate reason, or did they say they have to think about it because we didn't sell it correctly, or we didn't personalize it, dollarize it, quantify it, clarify it, and make it real for them? So that's very important. That's part of the data, and that's part of getting more prospective clients. Closing the pendings, but review and revise, and what we're doing. So yes, we will be doing that. Diane and I probably next week, if I get the green light from Catherine, because that's very important to see who's at. It's so much easier to close one that you've already seen than to go get a fresh one. That's why the whole data acting is so important that everybody embrace
Unless
that.
they just don't have the money for it, which
Well,
is what we're.
of course, there's always going to be an if, but
Which because it starts with the qualified lead.
right. But that in general, it's better to work with what you have and see what's there, because otherwise, you know, we're not solving the problem if we don't know why. We don't know why they're saying no, other than it's too expensive, which is the easiest thing to say, and it may in fact be very true for a lot of people. But it goes back to having the right qualified person, doing the right target marketing, and a lot of things we're doing, but I know just from the sales process itself that I've seen there's things that we can do to fix it. And there may be other things, I don't know. I mean, I think everything's on the table here. It's going to have to be on the table so that we can really be honest and diagnose what's missing and what we can add and what we can tweak.
I just thought of something too. Our ACT database has how many, Marie?
How many
In
contacts?
ACT.
Well, I mean, we've got like
Roughly.
800 contacts in there.
Right, and that's a big problem too. Because quite honestly, if we have 800 contacts and we're having 70 people come, I mean, how many of those contacts are real contacts? And I really think that our ACT database is very murky, and that we just need to cut the dead wood.
That's normal.
Yeah,
That's normal.
And I
Right
think,
now, we just put everybody in
and we're
there.
and we're just fishing through this sea of dead wood, and it's like, you know what? We have names and numbers in here just because we were so desperate to have names and numbers.
Okay. And that's
Yeah.
that's fine, and that's
So-
very normal when you're starting up with a database. I can't tell you how many companies I work with. How many years have you been in business? 8. How many contacts do you have in your ACT database?
5,000, right?
26? No, they
Oh.
they don't.
They
Either,
don't put anything
either
in
they
there.
have none, or they have 1 million, and it becomes impossible. Okay, if you have under 1,000, it's very easy to sort them out, even if we have to dump them into Excel like Marie did today. It's really easy when you look at Excel. We didn't get a chance to add those up, but she sorted them according to how many are hot leads, how many are cold leads, how many are vendors, how many are, well, from there, real easy. You have a whole separate database for your vendors and your extraneous people. Somebody could what do they call that? Scrub that database in less than a day. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
And then whoever is still pending, again, what's the next action? Diane needs to call them. Diane needs to sign them up. Diane needs whatever that is, and then move from there. So this is a process. It's very normal to have the database murky. You have people who have never touched. I mean, how many of you guys have ever used ACT before this?
Before this company?
Yeah,
No.
I have, but it's been a long time.
nobody really, essentially. So that's okay. It's not rocket science to put the name, address, phone number, and the source. Most importantly, the source. Where do they come from? Where are we spending money?
Well, Michelle that came from that organization, I don't know who she was with, but it was just nice to have her say, you know what, there's ways for us to do this, and I think that's another thing that hopefully we're going to move forward on very
Oh, that'll
soon.
happen. I'm sure that'll
Yeah,
happen
yeah,
before the year is out. But with only 800 names in there, half of which are probably nothing.
Mhm.
For now, we can.
But we can put new names in that do mean something, so we can get lists
Right.
which are much more effective just by going through our MLS. I mean, our target audience, our demographic is available for free, and we can take that in. I've been saying this since the day I started working here.
What? Go after a mailing list?
Oh, I can get it for. I've already told this a million times over that I can go into the MLS. I can go and pick the demographic that is exactly our target audience. It's right here.
Is that legal? Because I know that's MLS is kind of.
I'm a realtor. I'm a broker.
I know, but are you allowed to take that and market it in
Sure,
another
I
place?
can. Absolutely.
Really? I don't know. I feel something like not right about that. I mean,
I can check. I can check.
I would
with the
definitely
board.
check.
I can check, but
Because that's a list that somebody's on because they want to buy or sell
no,
a
it's
house.
a tax roll.
It is a tax roll.
It's a tax roll. That's
Okay.
exactly what it is. A tax roll. All that is public information. It's on the
Okay,
tax
so
roll.
let's stick with the topic. So the topic is that ACT is murky. There's 800 contacts.
So we can put better
Needs
information
to
there.
be scrubbed. And what you're saying is, let's get some more people.
More people that are our demographic, that are, who could afford us.
I have a comment about that as well.
Okay?
Is that I know we've always talked about what our demographic is and the location, and we've done a couple of mail outs to our targeted, to what we've deemed is our
Yes.
targeted. However, when you look at our actual clients that have signed up
Okay.
and paid, and I know that we've been focused, unless I'm wrong, that we've always been focusing on this Newport Beach, Newport Coast area. We have a lot of clients in San Clemente,
That's a very good point.
so I'm
Okay.
just like,
So
is
put
this
that
our
into a challenge. Let's put
demographic,
that
or-
into a challenge. What's the
What is our
challenge?
demographic?
Well, no, I want her
No, I
to.
meant that.
Okay, so what are you saying?
I'm saying that are we fishing in the wrong bowl or whatever, in the wrong sea, in that we have most of our clients are outside of Newport Beach, Newport Coast. I don't
Okay.
know why that is, but it is.
To our actual demographic. So
And the
that's
people-
a very important question.
And
It
I
may
think
not
it's
be.
important to maybe take all the profiles that have come in, people that have come in for a profile,
Yep.
where do they live?
We're going to survey the profiles
Because those are people that we have had captive for one
by
reason
zip
or
code.
another.
That is a very, very, very important point.
And we've spent thousands of dollars mailing out to Newport
To
Beach,
the wrong
Newport
people.
Coast.
Yeah.
And they may be the ones that come for a free party because
Yes.
they're local,
Yes.
but they're not the ones who are bringing us any
Right.
income.
Okay.
Right.
So we will add that to our list next week, Diane. We're gonna scrub that list in that way and find out who are our. We know who we think they are, and people
That might
are
be
wrong
who
all
we-
the time.
That might be who we hope they
That's
are.
who we think they are. And maybe that feeds into the price point. There's a lot of other extraneous, issues that could feed into that.
Yeah.
Okay. Very, very good.
As
Okay.
far as the contacts in ACT go to, we had a list from Harbor Day
Mhm.
school that we entered in there.
Mhm.
And they had got it, names and addresses and phone numbers of all these people. And they are in act. I don't believe anybody has contacted any of them because they're classified as code leads, of course, because it's a cold call you're making. They didn't request any information from us at all.
Okay.
And it's never been touched.
And I think we've got that list on the DL.
Yeah.
But
Okay. Do you even know about that?
no, but here's a question I have. Have we sent them invitations? So they've gone out through constant
If
contact?
we have an email address, then we have.
So those people have been contacted by an invitation, and to my knowledge, have any of them responded?
Well, that's what she said. No.
Probably not. So I
Okay.
don't know, they may not be our demographic either.
So,
No, I know, I'm
but
just
how many
saying that-
names are there?
A couple hundred.
Okay, so why would
Three.
you don't think there might be one or two sales in there?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
There are.
So it's called the Harbor Day.
You need to group them
Yeah, so
Yeah.
there's
so we
a-
know who they are.
yeah.
Okay,
They're
Maria.
Yeah.
listed. That's how they're
But
listed.
you can put a group, a whole separate.
Okay,
group.
well,
I know, they are. They're
Okay.
broken down. I did that in Excel today.
Oh,
They've
it
been
is.
done before.
Okay, the
They've
Harbor
been
Day
done
group.
before, yeah.
Okay, so state the challenge. Harbor Day list.
Harbor
leads-
Day lead list, yeah.
Oh, perfect.
leads
So I
leads
could
what?
put that in act and it would pop up.
Joanne,
That's just my question.
hold it 1 second. Let's finish just really quickly. Because I want to use our time, and that's something you can definitely help her with
Right.
afterwards, but I want to make sure we know what the problem is. Harbor Day,
Yeah.
lead
Leads.
list.
They've never been contacted.
Outside of the invite.
Except by invite. right?
Need to
And
review
only if they have an email address,
Okay.
which,
and contact.
which in looking at them, doesn't look like it. It's mostly phone numbers.
Oh, really?
Okay, so if it's only phone numbers,
It's
then-
a cold call.
then we have to figure out a way to make a phone call
Yeah.
Call in.
and say you refer to us by somebody.
Friend or whatever, yeah.
You know, may we have permission to send you some information, or may we invite you to our event? Yeah, we can totally script that out. Okay.
The thing with that list, was that also, well, no, that probably doesn't make any sense. Lisa got us that list?
Annette.
Yeah.
Oh, Annette did. Okay.
Maybe nothing, but 200 names of people who live locally, who are in your desired demographic.
Yeah.
Is Harbor Day a private school?
Yes.
Yeah.
Harbor
Okay.
Day school.
Well, there you go. So private school. Okay. So all right. So I mean, we're getting a little bit granular on that, but that's 200 people that who knows? Maybe they have a PTA, and we send out our stylists to go and do a free back to school fashion show.
I think
that's
that's a good idea.
to the point of putting yourself in front of people, and telling them about you versus saying, hey, we're thinking about doing a fashion show for your school as a community service event. So just in brainstorming that. Okay. All right. Anything else that stands out before we actually go into some actual? What are we gonna fix and mastermind today? What are we gonna apply our genius to? Anything else that's on anybody's mind?
Well, we were discussing advertising this morning.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
And that we're not sure which direction.
Did you email Catherine?
I talked to her on the phone today.
And you told her,
Okay.
yeah.
So, what do you see as the challenge there that you want? How would you state that challenge?
Well, we're just not sure if JU really matches up with our brand, really, or if they can.
Is JU?
J-
J-U.
Dash
J-U.
U a match? Okay.
Yeah.
And we don't have to go into all that, but in other words,
Yeah.
that needs to
They don't
be
get it.
evaluated and. Okay.
And we all think we can all do a better job with help from
Would in-house plus, what do we want to call it?
vendors,
In-house,
and who's, sound like,
plus contractors or whatever. plus
Yeah.
Contractor, independent contractor. Okay, that's very legit.
because it's basically the same thing as the social media and
Yeah, it goes back to the branding, it goes back to getting what you want without paying ridiculous prices.
somebody who can, yeah.
Okay, and each of these things, a more concise scrubbed list that's better defined, which everybody's on that page, it's gonna get better and better. People are remembering to ask and referred by a friend, may I have your friend's name, do you mind if I send them an email? Really fleshing that out. marketing to the right group, making sure we're doing business in the right zip code of people who are spending money here, having the right advertising that matches, everything else we discussed, captivating or capturing the event information. That's all going to bring more sales. So just bringing those things to the front of everybody's mind is step one, okay? So of all of these issues, of the point of sale material, we could mastermind any of these. Is there any one particular thing? I mean, I have an opinion, but does anybody have a real strong feeling that there's one particular area that we need to?
Of all of those, we're going to do one.
We're going to do one. Well, we'll see how brilliant we are. We'll do one for about 15 minutes. If we can do two, we will.
Can we take a 3, or can I just take like a potty break?
Potty break?
Yes.
Go.
Well, you decide. Don't start.
We'll just talk about you. Does anybody feel that there's one area, one particular item that we should jump on right now and talk about?
I do. I think we should really try to target in on how to qualify leads.
How to qualify them? Okay.
Because just, quite honestly, just because they come to our event and, gee, I'll come in and learn more about your services.
Okay.
We're finding that some of those people just.
Sure. Okay. Anybody else?
Prospecting.
That's a
Yeah,
good one.
prospecting.
Prospecting.
Oh, and then I had another one for discussion later,
Yes.
perhaps. That call that I just got with partners, for a partner, with a lady who works in the skincare clinic,
Yes.
and how, like, if we are going to have partners, what are we gonna say to become a partner? What do we do?
Got it.
What do they do?
Got it.
You know, I mean, I was
How to
winging
partner.
it there when I was talking to her. I didn't have a clue what I was saying. I was just
It's
Yes.
right here.
winging it. Oh, okay. And I mean, she was very happy and very
Yes.
gregarious about it, but still, it was like, but Catherine makes the final decision.
Yeah.
But I need that next step, make that final decision, and how are we gonna get there?
So we need a system for that.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure you guys can figure this one out, but I would venture to guess that if you sent out 500 partner requests to local businesses, how many responses do you think you'd get?
I think you get a lot.
Probably 501.
Yeah.
Because why?
Everyone wants business.
Everybody wants to be a part of it. Yeah.
Everybody wants what you have
Yeah.
or what they perceive that you have. Most people, well, a lot of businesses partner together. It's great. However, there has to be
Mutual. Yeah.
synergy.
Yeah.
It has to go both ways. And right now, in my opinion, and of course, Catherine, this is Catherine's business, not mine, and she has the ultimate say. We're not looking for partners. We're looking for clients.
Yeah.
How many clients have I seen in here in the last 4 months that, oh, I want to work with you guys. That's all fabulous. That means, you know,
It's a good
once we
thing.
do get up and running and very, very successful monetarily, then partners will be, you know, there's going to be a very short list of very exclusive partners.
But I could get her email list for her clients to send them our invitations.
Absolutely.
And
Well, that's part of the partnership.
that's what I
Yeah.
mean, and it would be
Yeah.
a give and take, because she would like to come to our event and you know, give out her business card or whatever.
And that's
to
where
get them
you
there.
have to be careful because, yeah,
Very
they
careful.
will say they sent out your, and they may or may not, and then they will want the same access. So there's going to be various.
Right.
I'm just going to hazard a guess here. I'm not thinking Catherine will be sending out her email address to anybody ever,
No.
or even sending out eyelash, you know,
Right. No, I
advertisements.
told them that's
Yeah.
private. We
Yeah.
would not be
No,
doing it that
because
way.
we're having enough of a challenge finding our audience and turning.
Yeah.
So the parking lot item is handling partner calls and what's that process and what's that system. There is this, do you see a little bit of a symmetry here or a pattern? Lots of systems need to be put together.
Yeah.
Just little procedures and systems, again,
Yeah.
very common in a very new business. Joanne, did you have a thought about what we should
With the
mastermind?
well,
we should
prospecting.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
And I'm going to have to agree with Joanne. I agree with you, Diane, that it's really important to qualify the leads, but I think that's something we can do together offline. Right now, we need more leads to qualify. So I'm thinking bigger picture is, what are we not doing to get to the people that we need to get in front of? You know, it goes back to that Pareto principle, the 80-20. If Diane is not spending 80% of her time in front of a client, we have a problem. And we're not there yet. She's new, and there's a lot to learn, and she's got some training to do. And
We do a lot of systems in place. We're trying to get it
yeah.
running.
However, in the next 30 to 60 days, that's got to change, and I am 100% sure that that's going to change. So, and with that, you know, Joanna's a great marketer, and she's done a great job in the sales piece too, and Zena as well. We have how many really beautiful, tight presentations that you guys have done that could be packaged out there in 30-minute, you know, various flavors to various audiences, with the end goal being come to our next event or come to our style profile. So anyway, I'm throwing out solutions, but I think what we need to talk about is how we get more people, more clients in the door. It's on one of these. I mean, unless anybody has a major disagreement, we need to get more clients in the door.
For sure.
There's nothing that can't be fixed with a few more clients. And, you know, Catherine's looking for 10 new clients a month. And I'm not seeing any for June.
Is this
Come on now.
what we're masterminding, how to get more people in the door?
That's what I'm suggesting. What do we need to do? What are we not doing that we know we could be doing? And then from there, we could actually even do a mind map of that. Does anybody feel like drawing?
I can draw. Oh, either one.
Who wants to? You want to? Both of you? Okay, so have you ever done a mind map? The center of the mind map is a picture of the ultimate goal, or just, you know, more clients, whatever you want to say. Yeah, yeah. Style 2020, a whole bunch of little circles, heads, clients. Okay. So, in the realm of getting more clients, getting more paid, qualified, demographic, psychographic, people who need and want Style 2020. Getting more clients. Okay, so that's the end goal.
Correct.
Qualified clients. I'm going to put all those adjectives in there. Right? Okay. Let's start with what we're doing now. Just lay it out there.
So we're doing our events.
Okay, everybody just, what are we doing now? Events?
Ads, social media.
E-bites.
And under social media we have what? Facebook
Facebook and Twitter.
and Twitter.
Did we ever do that other one?
LinkedIn.
Yeah.
That, I don't think they ever really got it going much, because I
It's more
think
of a
Catherine...
business referral kind of.
It's not
Yeah,
hard.
no, we know what it is. I think Catherine may have been somewhat resistant to being
Because it was personal
a
information.
little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it's really
Business.
more business
one-to-one,
managers.
and just, it's one-to-one as
Yeah,
opposed to B2B
and you know what?
or
I know lots of
B2C.
people. That's
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So ads and social media, and evites. Anything else that we're doing? Networking? Is anybody networking?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then also,
Special events.
Okay. Well, let's define what are we doing in networking specifically? Who specifically and what specifically?
we're following up where Diane, Joanne, I've done it in the past, I haven't been doing it lately, is at least following up with people that have come to our events.
Right, but I'm talking about networking.
Networking.
Oh,
networking,
networking.
yeah.
But hold that thought for 1 second. What have you done for networking so far?
We've gone to events such as the Colony. We've gone to Saks and La Mer event. We've gone to several events in the last 30 days.
Okay, so like retail events?
Not always retail. The Colony is an apartment complex right across the street.
Okay.
We are planning additional events with other vendors such as Spa Gregory. We've done some networking.
Like meetings, like NABO, we did that, right? Somebody
Well, we
did that.
went to another one.
BNI.
BNI.
BNI,
yeah,
okay.
BNI. We did that. I'm also a member of it's a group of women, the Republican women.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they're on break for summer, but I went to the meeting this month.
You went to one, okay.
Two, once in May and then once here in June.
Okay.
And so, and then of course we had, much. We've done some networking at South Coast Plaza with some of our vendors.
Okay, I'm thinking actual networking events like these.
Okay.
So let me ask a question about the networking. For example, you went to these, the Republican Women. What happened there in terms of, were you able to get names, numbers, business cards? What was the end?
At this point, no, it was, we kind of saw, Catherine introduced me, we soft shoot it. We have somebody that has been in the past, Melanie. She didn't come this month to the lunch. I was hoping to see her again. I've only talked to her on the phone. She had a lifestyle, like LMS profile,
Okay.
hasn't followed up,
Okay.
or canceled or something like
Okay.
that.
What
So
about
that's
NABA?
amazing.
Who went to NABA?
I did with Catherine.
You went, and was anybody able to gather information or get cards, or was it you were
We
just a
got a
visitor?
couple of cards. We were a visitor, and
Okay.
I think both of us were kind of overwhelmed. But I don't know that it was necessarily.
Okay.
It wasn't well utilized, and maybe we were just at an event, but
It was a dinner, right?
it's
So
a dinner.
the idea is, you can go to networking things all day long,
But
but
we
if you're
weren't
not
effectively-
capturing information, it's a
No.
waste of time.
We were trying to, I think you were trying at that point
to see if we wanted to do it.
Right. Now, B and I was very interested. We have lots of business cards. They're very interested in us being members. It's a
Yeah.
kind of a large time commitment for us.
It's a large time commitment, and it's very structured and scripted, and they tend to be very, it's a dentist, a chiropractor,
Exactly.
a Mary Kay, they're,
One per category of business.
and the ones, I don't know any that would be in your demographic, or in your, what's the word I want?
It
Well,
wasn't a high enough plan.
The only thing is, we did find a couple of business coaches we thought were interesting, that were very interested in talking to to their clients about our services. I don't know. So that was the one area that we did have a lot of business cards. and
Okay.
network.
Well, so we got the business cards, what happened to the business cards? That's my next question.
We sent,
So they're in the database.
Yeah, and John
Great.
sent them
Okay.
invitations to our event.
So these are all opportunities to expand on, okay. Anything else we are currently doing?
We use Octane 360, which is they use search engine optimization. So we have multiple sites, ultimately trying to refer them to our
Drive traffic.
yeah
So it's
drive
like a
traffic to
site,
our website.
partnering, it's not really
To
partnering.
drive traffic to our website
Okay.
and hopefully ultimately sign up for a profile.
Got it, okay. All right, that's great, okay.
I can speak to that. Some of those leads, they're way
No, I
out.
don't talk about the leads,
Okay.
but I'm just saying what exactly we're doing. Yeah, we'll get down to that level,
Okay,
but yeah,
got
we're
it.
just saying, what are we doing big picture? All right, anything else that you can think of? Okay, so that's the doing, and I would put something around that. What are we not doing that we could, should, or would do? That's another bubble, not doing bubble.
Well, I'm just looking at our networking
Yes.
situation, and actually, it's just an embryo. I would say our networking.
Yeah,
And so I don't think we have regularly planned things that we're like. I'd say networking. We should be out there 4
so-
times a month.
okay, so, all right, so I'm gonna do a new page, what we're not doing.
So I would say regularly, or what can we
We're
say?
trying to find the right vehicles.
Efficiently or effectively.
Okay, so what we're not doing is enough networking, okay? So I'm saying, for you, our mind mapper, make a bubble for what we're not doing, and identify the other bubble, doing, not doing. Not doing, one, enough networking, okay? Face to face, right?
Correct.
In the right groups, I think that's the key.
Right.
Okay,
That's a bigger bubble to see all that.
that's right. Who are our groups, okay. What else are we not doing that we could be doing?
I think we're missing just a lot of people as far as advertising, you know, because we do focus on Newport, and there's like Coda de Casa and, you know, maybe San Clemente,
housewives.
Laguna Beach, Shady
Yes.
Canyon. There's
Yeah.
like all
Those
these-
housewives have all lost their jobs and their houses, they can't afford this anymore. No, but that's a very good point. Okay, so
Yeah.
what we're not doing is enough expanded advertising.
Demographic, yeah.
Enough expanded, meaning outside of Newport, is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
especially considering, like we said before, who are
Right,
Clients already are.
outside Newport Beach, okay. What else are we not doing? Or let's make it more positive, what could we be doing? What could we, should we, might we do?
More events, private events.
Private events, okay. Meaning you go out to an event, we go to them, or private events here? Or both?
Both.
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 in-house, okay, outside.
I've done actually 2-3 events outside of the office,
Okay,
and each time it's well received, and we actually do have one client from an
Okay.
event. But I don't know that in the past Catherine was that open to us going out.
Yeah.
So I mean that's
understandable. But then again, we live in, the iPod, YouTube society. People want to be entertained. They expect you to come to them, especially at this level. That might be something I think to explore. Like we said, we have already 6 beautifully packaged to go seminars that can be easily modularized, sliced up, whatever, that we already have, not to mention other stuff
And I
that
think
we
need
could
to
create.
reach out to
Outside.
men.
Using, okay, we'll say it out loud,
We need to reach out to more men
Using
organizations.
our presentations.
Be more male friendly.
Okay. More men. Okay. So if we're going to do men events, what are we talking about? Car shows?
Yeah, we can network at those places too, because they're great. And then even just, Diane did go to UBS. I think we need to be talking to more businesses and putting together a true business presentation that Zena and we haven't put together, Zena and I have not put together an actual, I've done outlines way back in September when we first talked to UBS, but I think that Zena and I need to put together corporate presentations that are tight, 30 minutes that we can go in. So,
Yeah,
so we can go
talked
out and
about that,
prospect,
right.
but we need to have an outline that when we're prospecting, we can go to a business and say, here, this is our outline, this is what we can do. Give us 30 minutes at your weekly
At the next
meeting,
30 minutes.
or,
To go style, yeah. Very
yeah.
great. That's great. That's very good.
Yeah, that's nice.
Okay. What else should we, might be? Might we?
I don't know if this is already covered in our private events, reaching out, or maybe we just did it, is like really key in on, once we kind of figure out, once we've identified like where our money is coming from,
Yes.
in terms of zip code, is identify then groups or organizations within those area codes or areas to then target for private events or
Identify groups for private events by zip. It's a great idea. Okay. What else? Let's think outside the box here. What could we be doing that's creative, that's unique?
Oh, I had this idea at our last brainstorming meeting, but I guess I'm not really sure other than just to, for example, call up like a Chris Gillinella at a magazine, but is to somehow partner up with someone who has a larger scope
Yes.
than what we can do,
Yes.
to do, whether it's doing like an editorial on us or just to help have somebody else use us to get the word out. And what I was thinking is, because I had seen it for another stylist,